Emma, we need to talk about your future, James Cart, CEO of Vitacor Labs, said to me during the meeting. I stood there clutching a $45 million contract with Biovance, my heart pounding with pride. My future? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady, thinking this was the prelude to a compliment. I just closed the biggest deal in the company's history. What's left to discuss? Olivia Bennett stood beside James, arms crossed, her red lips curling into a mocking smile. Emma, you did well, I'll give you that, she said, her voice sweet but laced with venom. But Biovance needs someone with presence. Someone from top-tier schools who knows how to handle major clients. You get what I mean, right? I furrowed my brow, my voice hardening, heat rising to my head. You mean I'm not good enough because of my state college degree? I've met with Sophia Hayes a dozen times, worked with her team every day, fixed every technical glitch. What have you contributed besides copy-pasted reports? Olivia let out a soft laugh, her eyes glinting with disdain. Emma, don't take it personally. Not everyone's cut out for high-caliber clients. Yeah, Vitacor needs someone who can represent, not just do the work. Enough, James cut in, his voice sharp as a blade. Emma, your position is being eliminated, effective immediately. Olivia will take over Biovance. This is the board's decision. The meeting room felt frozen, the hum of the air conditioner the only sound. The $45 million contract, 15 months of round-the-clock work, emails sent at 3 a.m., all that stress, had become their excuse to push me out of Vitacor. James and Olivia thought I'd stay quiet, take the 5-month severance package, and disappear. They didn't know I held something stronger than a contract. A promise from Sophia Hayes, Biovance's CEO, a trump card that could unravel their sham of a plan. I'm Emma Vega, 41, no prestigious degree or powerful connections, just brains, grit, and years of burning the midnight oil to prove my worth. In this biotech industry where smiles hide schemes and million-dollar deals are signed under glittering lights, I'll turn this betrayal into power. I'll make James and Olivia pay and build something bigger than their arrogant little company. That night, after the firing decision, I curled up on the sofa in my small apartment, the dim yellow light casting shadows on the peeling walls. A cold breeze slipped through the cracked window, carrying the damp smell of the city after rain. In front of me sat a cold plate of salad and a bottle of cheap red wine, the only luxury I allowed myself tonight. My phone lay beside me, its dark screen heavy with potential, like a bomb waiting to detonate. I swiped my finger, deleting Vitacor Labs group chats with a cold tap. Each delete was a cut severing ties with James Carter, Olivia Bennett, and the company that betrayed me. The wilting snake plant on the shelf begged for water, my gray cat yowled for food, but my mind spun with images of Olivia's triumphant smirk and James's voice delivering his verdict, "You're not part of the plan." The severance package, 5 months' salary, sat in an email, a cheap price for my silence. As if money could erase 15 months of sleepless nights and a knife in the back. My phone buzzed, the screen flaring to life. A message from Sophia Hayes. Meeting you Monday to kick off the project. My team's buzzing with excitement. I blinked, rereading it, my heart racing. Vitacor hadn't told Biovance I was fired. They planned to keep it secret, letting Olivia glide into the signing ceremony like a queen while I was erased. A surge of anger flared, hot as glowing coals. I grabbed the phone, fingers flying over the keyboard, drafting a short message. Sophia, they just fired me. I'm no longer with Vitacor. One tap on send and James and Olivia's perfect plan would crumble. Sophia would lose it. The $45 million contract would vanish like smoke. I pictured Olivia's face paling, James stammering, Vitacor's glossy boardroom turning into a ruined arena. 2 weeks earlier, I sat in Sophia Hayes' minimalist office, Biovance's CEO, on the 30th floor of a sleek glass tower. Rain pattered against the windows like a metronome to our high-stakes negotiation. No paintings or fancy clocks adorned the walls, just a rough wooden desk, and Sophia, a woman with eyes sharp as razors, commanding the room without a designer suit. I gripped my stack of documents, heart pounding, knowing the $45 million contract rested in my hands, hinging on this final test. "Emma," Sophia said, her voice solid as stone, fingers tapping lightly on the desk. "I'm ready to sign for $45 million, but there's a condition." She paused, her gaze locking onto mine as if she could see through any lie. "You personally oversee the biotech system's implementation. No one else?" I nodded, forcing confidence. "Of course, I'll—" "Don't make empty promises." Sophia cut me off, her voice slicing the air. She leaned forward so close I could feel the intensity radiating from her. "This is Biovance's biggest bet. If Vitacor dares hand this to some second-rate manager, I'll tear up the contract on the spot. Got it?" I swallowed hard, my throat dry. Vitacor's playbook flashed in my mind like a toxic manual. Sign the deal, clap hands, then shove implementation to another team, usually suits who only knew PowerPoint. I'd seen clients burn out from that strategy. "You're hesitating," Sophia said, her voice low but heavy with pressure, like a judge about to deliver a sentence. "If you're not sure, I stop now. I don't work with flimsy promises." I took a deep breath, my hands clutching the documents until the paper crinkled. "I'm in," I said, my voice steady despite a slight tremor, eyes locked on hers. "I'll oversee everything, start to finish. No one else steps in." Sophia went silent, her gaze probing as if peeling back my soul. The room was still, just the steady tap of rain. Then she nodded, a small but firm motion. "Good. I trust you, Emma. Not Vitacor. You." She extended her hand, her palm unexpectedly calloused, a mark of someone who'd done real work, not just sat in boardrooms. I shook it, feeling the strength in her grip, a jolt running down my spine. "Keep this promise," Sophia said, her voice low like a warning, "or we both lose everything." "Emma, don't rush," I whispered to myself, my voice soft but sharp. My finger hovered over the send button millimeters away. I set the phone down, the screen fading, snuffing out the temptation. A cold smile crept across my lips. Let them dig their own grave. I sipped the wine, its bitter taste sliding down my throat, but my heart felt strangely light. In 18 hours, Vitacor would host the contract signing with fine wine and fake handshakes. Sophia would walk in, her sharp eyes scanning the room, and her first question would be, "Where's Emma?" Olivia's smile would freeze, and James would realize how badly they'd underestimated me. I didn't need to send that message, I just needed to watch, like an audience member to a play I'd scripted myself. I stood, fed the cat, watered the plant, and looked out the window. The city still glowed, but inside me a quiet fire burned. They thought they'd won? They didn't know the game had just begun. In Vitacor Labs' grandest boardroom on the 32nd floor, the space was adorned like a royal stage. The glass table gleamed under a chandelier's glow. Premium wine chilled in silver buckets. Executives in tailored suits milled about, and cameras flashed to capture the historic moment. The doors opened. Sophia Hayes entered, punctual as a Swiss clock, dressed simply, a white blouse, black trousers, not a single piece of jewelry. The crowd fell silent, sensing the power radiating from a woman who needed no flash to dominate. James strode forward, a perfect smile blooming, hand extended like a politician. "Welcome, Ms. Hayes," he said, voice smooth as velvet. "Today's a big day." Sophia didn't shake his hand. She stood still, her razor-sharp gaze sweeping the room before locking onto James. "Where's Emma?" she asked, her voice low but cutting, slicing through the air like a blade. James faltered, his smile freezing. She... He glanced at Olivia, poised near the conference table, her red Louboutin heels peeking from her dress's hem. Emma's no longer with Vitacor. Olivia Bennett will handle the Biovance account. Olivia stepped forward, her smug smile radiant, hand outstretched. Thrilled to work with you, Sophia. I'll ensure everything. No, Emma, no deal, Sophia cut in, her voice icy, unwavering. The room went deathly still, as if the air had been sucked out. Cameras stopped flashing, executives exchanged panicked glances. Olivia's mouth opened, but no words came, her smile dissolving like mist. James paled, his voice trembling slightly. What are you saying? This is a $45 million contract. I'm saying, Sophia snapped, stepping closer to James, close enough for him to feel her intensity. My $45 million goes with Emma. She promised to personally oversee this, and I trusted her. Not you. You fired her. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. The contract on the table, the stack of papers I'd poured my heart into for 15 months, turned to ash. Olivia clenched her fists, red-painted nails digging into her palms. James stepped back, trying to maintain composure, but his icy blue eyes now held only panic. The opulent boardroom became a ruined arena where Vitacor's counterfeit crown shattered. Saturday morning, my apartment was bathed in pale sunlight, but the phone on the table buzzed frantically like a trapped animal. The screen flashed, 10 missed calls, 20 texts from Vitacor Labs, each one a desperate plea. A message from Ethan, the legal counsel, stopped me mid-yoga pose. Emma, you just dropped a bomb in the boardroom. Call me now. I smirked, letting the phone buzz a few seconds longer, savoring the power seeping into every breath. Then James Carter's name lit up the screen. I let it ring 3 times, each chime a hammer striking his smugness. Finally I answered, my voice cold as October wind. What is it, James? Emma. His voice trembled, stripped of the calm authority of the boardroom king. There's been a huge misunderstanding. Sophia Hayes won't sign without you. He paused, expecting me to jump at the chance. But I stayed silent, letting his panic fester. Is that so? I scoffed, my voice sharp as a blade. Yesterday, you said I wasn't up to par, not part of Vitacor's grand plan. Why do you need me now? Is Biovance scaring you that much? Don't play games, Emma, James snapped, his voice cracking, betraying his desperation. Name your price. VP role, double salary, corner office, anything you want. 3 days ago, in the 32nd floor boardroom, James had slammed the table, declaring Olivia the presence Vitacor needs. I'd signed the termination papers, nails digging into my palms, swallowing the pain to keep my revenge smoldering. Now he was begging, and I wasn't going to make it easy. James, I cut in, my voice calm but razor sharp, you looked me in the eye and said I wasn't good enough. You chose Olivia with her Yale degree and fake smile. What now? Sophia wants me, and you're groveling like a loser. Silence. I heard his heavy breathing over the line like a cornered animal. What do you want, Emma? He asked, his voice small, almost a whisper, as if his veneer of power had crumbled. I leaned back on the sofa, watching sunlight stream through the window, my heart pounding with the thrill of victory. Nothing, I said, each word a final nail in Vitacor's coffin. You've got Olivia, your international caliber star. Let her save the $45 million. Good luck with Sophia. I hear she doesn't take kindly to being played. I hung up, the beep ringing like a symphony of triumph. The phone dropped onto the sofa, and I laughed, a sound both bitter and gleeful. James Carter, who once saw me as a disposable pawn, was now trembling from his own mistake. The memory of Sophia's piercing gaze as we shook hands flashed through my mind. The promise I'd kept secret was now a dagger in Vitacor's heart. I stood, pulled open the curtains, and let the sunlight flood in. They thought they controlled me? They didn't know I was the one writing the rules. On Sunday, as pale sunlight filtered through my apartment's curtains, a sharp, decisive knock echoed at the door. I opened it to find Sophia Hayes standing there, holding a bottle of expensive wine, her razor-sharp gaze piercing into me. No greetings, no pleasantries. She stepped inside, her leather boots clicking on the wooden floor. "Why didn't you tell me Vitacor fired you?" she asked, her voice low but heavy with pressure, like a prosecutor in a courtroom. I shrugged, grabbing 2 glasses from the kitchen shelf, feigning nonchalance. "Why bother, Sophia?" "I wanted James and Olivia to shoot themselves in the foot." I poured the wine, its deep red swirling in the glasses, and handed one to her. Sophia took it but didn't drink, her eyes still locked on me, as if weighing every word. She smirked, a half-smile laced with irony. "James nearly fainted when I canceled the deal," she said, her voice tinged with amusement. "Olivia tried to charm me with her fake smile and a speech about strategic vision." I cut her off. "No Emma, no signature. Find her or lose $45 million. I laughed, the sound ringing through the quiet apartment, both bitter and exhilarating. "I'd have paid to see Olivia's face," I said, sipping the wine, its sharp taste spreading across my tongue. A memory flashed, quick as a blade. Olivia in the boardroom, red Louboutins gleaming, smug smile beaming as James handed her Biovance. Now that smile must have shattered like glass. Sophia raised her glass, clinking it against mine, the crystal ringing clearly. "They got what they deserved," she said, but her eyes turned serious, like a storm brewing. "Emma, I'm done with Vitacor, but Biovance still needs a new biotech system. And you?" She paused, staring at me like she was betting her fortune. "You need a chance to make them regret it." "What do you mean?" I asked, my heart racing, feeling the weight of her words. "Meet Ryan Foster, CEO of Nova Bio," Sophia replied, her voice firm as iron. "They're small but innovative, not trapped in Vitacor's glossy cage. I believe you can make waves, not just for Biovance, but for yourself." I slowly twirled the wine glass, my mind spinning with the thought of a new battlefield. Sophia drained her glass and set it on the table with a decisive clink. "Don't let me down, Emma," she said, then left the apartment. On Monday, I sat in a riverside cafe, the scent of roasted coffee mingling with the salty breeze. Ryan Foster walked in, no suit, no flashy watch. Just a rolled-up shirt and eyes blazing like he'd struck gold. He sat down, cutting straight to the chase. "Sophia says you're gold," he said, his voice low but challenging. "She rarely praises anyone. Who are you, Emma?" I raised an eyebrow, setting my coffee down. "I'm the one who just cost Vitacor $45 million, I replied, my voice calm but edged with a sharp smile. "And you? What's Nova Bio, and why should I care?" Ryan laughed, the sound booming over the waves outside. "I need someone like you," he said, leaning forward, eyes burning like fire. "Someone who'll stand up and smash Vitacor's fake system. Nova Bio's small, but we're fast, creative, and gunning for their market. You in?" "What do you need me for?" I asked, my voice daring, though a new spark flickered inside me. "To crush Vitacor," Ryan said, his voice solid as stone, eyes never leaving mine, "and to prove real talent doesn't need an Ivy League degree or a fake smile." I gazed at the river, sunlight glinting like new possibilities. The memory of my promise to Sophia in her minimalist office flashed through me. "I trust you, Emma, not your company." Now she was opening a new door, and I'd step through. Not for revenge, but to build something Vitacor could never grasp. True value. The riverside cafe still carried the briny scent of the sea as Ryan Foster leaned forward, his eyes blazing like someone ready to ignite a revolution. "Emma, I want you as Chief of Strategic Relations at Nova Bio," he said, his voice solid as stone. "Real equity, not empty promises. You in?" I set my coffee down, meeting his gaze, heart pounding, but voice steady. "I don't need titles, Ryan," I replied, each word a declaration. "I want to build something real, free from the Ivy League-ish games and fake smiles Vitacor calls strategy." Ryan laughed, the sound ringing over the crashing waves. "Deal," he said, nodding sharply. "But my condition, you build Nova Bio's team." No fancy degrees, no polished resumes. Just talent, people like you, underestimated by Vitacore. I smirked, feeling like I'd found a true ally. Done, I said, shaking his hand. Ryan's firm grip a wordless vow. A week later, Nova Bio's headquarters, an open space with glass walls and whiteboards scrawled with ideas, hummed with life. Sophia Hayes walked in, still minimalist in a white blouse and black trousers, her sharp gaze sweeping the room like a general sizing up a battlefield. I stood before the presentation board, documents in hand, heart racing but voice steady. This is Nova Bio's proposal, I said, pointing to a diagram of a groundbreaking biotech system. More efficient than Vitacore's, more flexible and 8% cheaper. Sophia crossed her arms, her eyes skeptical. You sure, Emma? She asked, her voice low and challenging. Vitacore has a team of hundreds, massive resources. Nova Bio's just a small player. A memory flashed, quick as lightning. Olivia in the boardroom smirking as James declared me not up to par. I took a deep breath, locking eyes with Sophia, my voice unwavering. Vitacore has a team, but they don't have me, I said. I promised you the best system, and I'll outdo anyone at Vitacore. That's my commitment. Sophia went silent, her gaze probing as if peeling back my soul. Then she gave a rare smile, small but genuine. You've never let me down, Emma, she said, extending her hand. I shook it, feeling the strength in her grip, and a $40 million contract was signed on Nova Bio's rough wooden table. The scratch of the pen on paper rang like a victory anthem, but the triumph barely settled when my phone buzzed. A text from Olivia Bennett. Think you've won? Vitacore will crush Nova Bio like an ant. You're just lucky, Emma. I read it, fingers tightening around the phone, heat rising in my veins. The memory of Olivia's venomous smile in the 32nd floor boardroom flickered, but I didn't reply. Her words weren't a threat, they were fuel, pouring oil onto my burning resolve. I set the phone down, gazing out the window where sunlight glinted off Nova Bio's glass walls. Crush us? I whispered, my voice low but sharp as a blade. Try it, Olivia. I'll make you choke on those words. Deep down, I knew. The contract with Sophia was just the start. Nova Bio wasn't just a company, it was a new empire, and I'd build it on Vitacore's ashes. At Nova Bio, I built the Phoenix team. Michael, Sarah, David, talent scorned by Vitacore for lacking Ivy League degrees or polished gala smiles. Now they shone brilliantly like flames rising from ashes. Michael designed a biotech system that outstripped Vitacore's. Sarah analyzed data with precision that stunned clients, and David won partners over with sincerity Olivia could never muster. Every day at Nova Bio was a declaration of war. True talent needs no glitter. One morning, I sat in Nova Bio's office, sipping hot coffee, scrolling through news on my phone. The screen flared with bold headlines. Vitacore Labs stock plummets 50% after Biovance deal collapse. I smirked, not quite a smile, but satisfaction curled in my chest. Then I opened social media, and oh, a storm was raging over James Carter and Olivia Bennett's counterfeit kingdom. Former clients, ex-employees, those Vitacore treated like garbage, were unloading years of pent-up truth online, a chorus of long-suppressed honesty. A major client once promised Vitacore's cutting-edge biotech system only to be handed to a second-rate team, posted on LinkedIn. Vitacore's all talk, big promises, shoddy delivery, dumping work on clueless managers. Nova Bio saved us. I nearly choked on my coffee reading a comment below. A former Vitacore engineer wrote, they fired Emma Vega for lacking presence, then gave Biovance to Olivia Bennett, who knew nothing beyond her fake smile. Now they're paying the price. Twitter was a battlefield. An ex-employee, likely forced out for not having an Ivy League degree, tweeted, 5 years at Vitacore, treated like I was invisible because I didn't graduate from Yale. Thank you, Emma and Nova Bio, for showing what real talent looks like. The hashtag #VitaCore collapse trended, paired with posts exposing the company's toxic culture. Bosses only cared about who kissed up best, not who worked best, one wrote. Olivia once forgot to credit me on a project I led, just to score points with James. They deserve this end. I scrolled through dozens of posts, from clients slamming VitaCore's half-baked services to employees exposing their dismissal, and a strange feeling rose. Not glee, but relief. I set the phone down, gazing out at the whiteboard filled with the Phoenix team's ideas. VitaCore might be crumbling under online backlash, but at Nova Bio we were building something else. A place where value was measured by your work, not the degree you flaunted. Clients abandoned VitaCore in droves, leaving the 32nd floor halls buzzing with panic. Olivia Bennett was fired, her belongings escorted out by security like a criminal's. James Carter, once enthroned in the boardroom, was demoted, his salt and pepper hair now a disheveled testament to failure. A year later, I stood on a biotech conference stage, blazing spotlights illuminating a plaque reading Executive of the Year. The packed auditorium watched me, but I saw only two people. Sophia Hayes, front row, clapping with a subtle smile. Ryan Foster by the door, nodding proudly. Before I could speak, a figure slipped through the crowd, approaching the stage. Olivia Bennett, gaunt, eyes red-rimmed, her office dress wrinkled like she'd weathered a storm. "Emma," she said, voice trembling, almost a whisper, "you destroyed me. You took everything, my career, my reputation, everything." The room fell silent, all eyes on us. I looked at Olivia, not with anger, but with cold calm. A memory flashed, sharp as a knife. Her venomous smirk in the 32nd floor boardroom, mocking me as not up to par. Now the woman who once stood on a pedestal trembled before me. "No, Olivia," I said, my voice slow, each word a stone hurled at her arrogance. "You destroyed yourself. You thought a Yale degree and fake smile mattered more than talent. You chose wrong, and now you're paying." Olivia opened her mouth, but no words came. Her eyes flashed with venom, then dimmed like a candle snuffed by wind. She turned, stumbling away, vanishing into the crowd like a forgotten ghost. I took a deep breath, facing the auditorium, the spotlights blazing again. "Thank you for this honor," I began, my voice ringing, not for revenge, but to inspire. "Today I stand here not because of a prestigious degree, but because of those who believed in real value." The audience roared with applause, but I looked only at Sophia, who nodded slightly, and Ryan, who flashed a proud thumbs up. The memory of my promise in Sophia's minimalist office flickered. "I trust you, Emma, not your company." That promise had led me here, not to destroy VitaCore, but to build something greater. Back at Nova Bio's new office, a simple space with glass walls and idea-filled boards, I placed my state college degree on the desk, next to a note from Sophia. I kept my promise. Beside it was a new revenue report, figures soaring beyond projections. I gazed at the city where VitaCore's tower was now a faint shadow. We'd reshaped biotech, not through vengeance, but through true value, something James and Olivia would never understand. I sat in Nova Bio's office, afternoon sunlight glinting off my state college degree and Sophia Hayes' note. I kept my promise. On the desk, a stack of fresh reports showed revenue figures dancing like a victory song. This journey wasn't just about making VitaCore pay, it was about discovering the true meaning of value. I once thought I needed a prestigious degree, a practiced smile, or handshakes at wine-soaked galas to be recognized. But 15 months grinding for a $45 million contract, nights with cold salad in my small apartment, and the day I stood on a conference stage as Executive of the Year taught me something. Value isn't what others impose on you, it's in how you keep your promises, how you rise after being knocked down, and how you lift others with you. My promise to Sophia wasn't just a contract, it was a reminder that integrity is the greatest strength. When I vowed to deliver the best biotech system, I wasn't just speaking to her, but to myself. I wouldn't let anyone label me a failure. My Phoenix team, people Vitacore scorned, made that promise real, not with glittering chandeliers, but with sweat, talent, and belief in each other. We proved you don't need a Yale degree or a boardroom smile to reshape an industry. But what I want you to remember most isn't the title or the revenue numbers. It's the moment I doubted myself, thinking I wasn't enough, because I didn't have the right background. If I'd let James and Olivia win, if I hadn't kept my promise to Sophia, I wouldn't be here today. My biggest lesson is this: don't let anyone tell you you're not good enough. Find people who believe in you, like Sophia believed in me, like Ryan gave me a chance, and build your own team where talent is valued, not flash. Keep your promises to others and yourself, because that's the fire that will carry you through the darkest days. Life will throw people like James and Olivia at you saying you're not good enough, not from the right place, not polished enough. Don't let them define you. Stand up, find allies, and prove them wrong. Not with revenge, but by living your values. Each of us has a phoenix inside, waiting to rise from the ruins,